Hi everyone, I am Charmaine and I haven't been with you for quite a while. So as I was talking about the radio station that I had put up on Facebook for subscription, it's a very close friend of mine that found the radio station, Minister Clifton Rutty. He initiated that radio station. It's the Impact Gospel radio station. It's located in New York. The reason why I am talking about that radio station is because my materials are also on that radio station. I have a slot on that radio station, and Monday, it should be Monday at 8 Central Standard Time, which would be 9 New York time. I don't know what time frame they use. I mean, and yes, that radio station does impact person's life. We have a lot of educational project and programs there. We have therapists, psychotherapists like myself. We have doctors, we have pharmacists, we have spiritual care providers, we have lawyers, we have just about everything, information for almost everything. Whatever you want to know, whatever you want to hear about, it's there. And you should tune into that station. It's really good. It's 24 hours per day. We also have the Impact Prayer group. This is a group that was founded by Mr. Clifton Rutty as well. And we have people on that line Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 a.m. New York time, 5 a.m. Manitoba time. Yes. Monday to Friday, 12 midday New York time, 11 a.m. my time, and Monday to Friday midnight New York time, 11 p.m. my time. This group is a group of people from all over the world come together praying for everything, anything, and anything, any complication, anything you want prayer for, they do pray for you. And they have been lots of positive results and positive outcome. And so I'm talking about it because I talk about positivity in person's life. And once there is result where positivity is noted and noticeable, I am going to speak about it. I am not advertising, but because I am a part of that group, I will talk about that group. Okay? So I'm a part of the radio station and I'm a part of the Impact Prayer group as well. So I am able and I got authorization to talk about that. So here we go. We're going to talk about responsibility tonight. My eyes may not be in that camera up there because the camera is a little bit far from my gaze. I have to look up to look into the camera. But I'm going to look straight ahead of me or maybe down when I am probably glimpsing at my content. We're going to talk about responsibilities. The reason why I use Google search engine to get definitions and to talk about certain things is because sometimes most of us have smartphones and we can just flip through the phone and just find Google and just find the word that I'm talking about and just see the definition easy peasy. And also Google has Oxford languages dictionary, and so that's a very good place to find whatever you're looking for instead of me going into Oxford or what's that other one, Merriam dictionary. It might take out a little while for you to find the word, so I like to use Google because most people have smartphone, can just flip through and find it. So according to Google, it says responsibility is taking accountability or blame for someone or something. It is the capability or the opportunity to act alone and to make decisions without being authorized. And we have a right to be accountable for our actions. and to take ownerships for our thoughts, our behavior, and our attitude when we portray it. Wherever we portray it, whether in the workplace, in the homes, the offices, even in the church, and more so in society. We need to be reliable within our lives in every capacity of our journey, and we need to be influential for the task we do and are given as parents, as lovers, as landlords, as tenants, as neighbors, managers, insurers, insure person, and the list goes on. When should we take responsibility? When do we think we should take responsibility? Because some persons, honestly, some persons think they don't have any responsibility at all, and they do all these things and think it's okay to do these things. It's not okay. It's not okay to do things that are against the law. It's not okay to hurt people. It's not okay to shun responsibility and allow things to go down the drain per se, or allow things to get out of hand per se, without being liable for our actions and our behavior. And most times our thoughts, we need to take responsibility for our thoughts as well, because as in the Bible, the Holy Bible, the King James Version, it says there, it says that when we think and we speak, that was conceived in our heart. And so whatever we speak, we already formulate it in our heart already. But I'll get to that in a little while, because we need to talk about that in a little more detail. We have to take responsibility at all times. So when do we take responsibility? At all times. If you see my camera shaking, it's unstable. I have it right on my cushion right here in front of me just to get that light in. We need to take responsibility at all times during our daily lives, every step of the way, and in everything we do. We need to take responsibility. No matter how simple it might seem, as the saying goes, simple trash, blind eye. So we might think that we're doing simple things and we don't need to take responsibility for it. We do need to take responsibility for it, because sometimes we do simple things and it hurt people. It hurt people. We might not see that it hurt people. There's a saying in I don't know if it's everywhere, but in my country there's a saying that says that it's not the person who poo, is normally the one who steps in the pool feels the effect, because that's the person who have to stand the smell of the pool and clean that pool from the shoe. So while you're cleaning it, you're seeing the effect of the pool. So the one that pool does not really realize the effect that that pool might cause to somebody else's life. So simple trash, as I said, blind eye. So we might think we're doing a simple thing, but to some persons it might not be simple. You might be causing chaos in that person's life. And don't forget that we don't know what persons are going through. And so when we do things, we might, persons always say, the final straw that breaks the camel back. There's a saying, I don't know who said that saying, but I learned that saying when I was younger, that there's a straw, the final straw that breaks the camel back. So sometimes that person might be at their end wit, and you do something you might think was simple, and it was not simple. That person's life becomes chaos. So don't think something that you're doing. Think about other people in a very loving and caring manner. Okay? So as a matter of fact, the more, as I said, the more simple the thing is, the more we should be responsible. So we might think that the thing might be simple, right? And we might have a simplicity about the severity of things. For instance, we have a baby and we're feeding that baby. We cut that food the way the baby normally eat that food in bite size, and we leave that baby to eat. Simple thing, a simple thing. We turn our back for 5 seconds just to go get our water and to come back to sit in front of that baby and talk to that baby, just engage that baby while that baby is eating. But the 5 seconds that we turn our back was that 5 seconds that that baby start choking and probably die, God forbid. Simple thing, a simple thing, just turning your back to get your water to come back to that child that normally eat that bite-sized food. That child normally navigate and eat that bite-sized food, but this time that child choke. So that's a simple thing. And so sometimes the simple the thing is, the most dangerous the thing is, and the more we should take responsibility and be accountable and be liable for that action. Because we're going to be liable for that action, because if the child die, they're going to charge us either for manslaughter or murder, because that child is underage and that child cannot take responsibility for him or herself. And so that onus is on the guardian or the parent to protect that child. Simple thing. All right, we're going to look at a more complicated thing. All right. For instance, we are manager for a big corporation. And so when we are manager for a big corporation, then we know the responsibility that we have. And so we're on P's and we're on Q's, and we look at everything and we try to ensure that everything is in place and everything is going well until we leave that corporation and go home. Then we put down that responsibility for that business when we leave, when we hand over to somebody else to take the responsibility. So you see, the greater the responsibility or the greater the task, the more focused we are on the responsibility. And a simple responsibility, we might just turn our back. Don't do that. Don't try not to do that. Everything in our lives we should be responsible for, as simple as it might be or as large as it might be. We should cover every areas in our lives, whether we're at work, whether we're home. We cannot leave the responsibility for somebody else. We cannot do that. We are responsible for ourselves, and we cannot slack up on our responsibility. We cannot shun our responsibility and duties, no matter how frustrating we get with that responsibility. Because sometimes I'm going to focus on that child again, since I make the reference with the child as an example. We might have the child, and the child is just crying and won't stop crying, right? And so we get frustrated because we don't know what to do. We might try to call somebody, maybe our parents, because they have been parents before, maybe friends that have kids before, to try and help us to see what we can do to allow the child not to cry, or to try to calm the child. We don't get those persons that we are trying to call to help us, and so we get frustrated. We might put the baby in the crib or wherever, just because we are frustrated. No matter how frustrated we get, we cannot shun our responsibility. Please do not shun our responsibility, no matter how simple it is, because we are frustrated. You stick it out, you stick it through, you find the help you need. Because even if you don't get the our parent to help us with our child, or a close friend, for a family member, there are crisis hotline out there to call for help. You even can call the EMS team for help. There are lots of people out there who will help us. All right, so do not shun our responsibility, no matter how frustrated we get. Where does responsibility come from? This is a really, when I think about it, when I think about our responsibility and where it comes from, it might seem simple, but responsibility have been about from the beginning of time. If you read in Genesis, the book of Genesis, chapter 1, I believe, the Holy Bible, the King James Version. Unfortunately, from the beginning of time, there is responsibility. If some of us remember when Adam and Eve were made, and their responsibility was to take care of each other. That was one of their responsibility. They were also to be taken care of the garden, the creeping things, the fowls of the air, the fishes of the sea, every living thing. They were responsible to take care of all this. Right? Responsibility can be seen as a good thing because what it does, it allows us to know how to function in society. It allows us to be independent. It allows us to see what we can manage. From the beginning of time, when the child is born, the child is responsible to stay alive. It might sound a little bit off, but think about it. When the child is born, the child is responsible to stay alive. The child is responsible to breathe. If that child is not breathing, the midwife, the doctor, whoever delivered that child is going to slap that child for that child to cry, to breathe. If that child's still not breathing, they're going to stimulate that child. The midwife or the deliverer of that child is responsible to ensure that that child breathes as well. So both of them have responsibility from the beginning of time, from we were born. So therefore, everywhere we go and everything we do, we have to have accountability for it, from in our homes and out into society. So it starts in our home, it starts from birth, and the more we grow, the more responsible we become. So, for example, in the home, there is an argument about a specific issue. Both parties are unable to stay on the topic, right? And so the argument blew out of proportion, right? We started bringing other people in the argument. We started bringing irrelevant issues into the argument, irrelevant issues that surround friends, family, culture, um, nature. All these things start coming into the argument that is not necessary. Because, for instance, we're talking about the light bulb. We are supposed to stay on the issue of the light bulb. We cannot be flying and putting other things into the argument that is irrelevant. And so we have to take responsibility for everything, especially our arguments. We need to take responsibility for that. We need to try a way to solve our problem without bringing other sources and other people and culture and all these things in an argument, which will just allow the argument to blow out of proportion. So we don't need that. We just need to stay on track. And if we can't fix the argument, we can take in a mediator to help us with the argument. Take a mediator that will not take side. Somebody who is neutral to help us with the argument, to help us get over this issue. Because simple argument can make or break relationship. And we don't want a relationship to be broken because of simple argument. And there's some persons who have a bringle mentality as well, like bringle personality or characteristics. And what I mean by bringle, like if you look at the Caribbean dictionary, so it means a vex, a vex. And this is patois now. I'm throwing out patois because bringle is a patois word. And the Caribbean dictionary does define it in some patois word as well. So bringle mean vex, bend, cross, dark, ignorance, cruel face, etc. Bringle in the English mean the person is easily upset. And so if there's a person who is easily upset, then this person should not be given certain responsibility or certain responsibilities, because this person have to have responsibility for him or herself to go learn about him or herself and what makes he or she bring easily, and try to get into the attitude, have the personality and the characteristics to deal with issues. And so, as much as they do get frustrated with whatever they are going through, they have a responsibility for themselves and for others. And they should take accountability, because if they get upset and start slapping people around and start abusing people, no, 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 no. That's not right. And that shouldn't be. And so they need to take responsibility as well. No matter how dark that person is, or ignorant, as we call it in the patois style. No matter how easily upset that person gets, that person needs to take responsibility for his or her behavior. Okay? Why was it important to take responsibility? I don't know if anybody knows about community justice. Community justice is very real. I've had a friend who it wasn't in his right mind, and he tried to hurt somebody, and the community come together and did do a number on that person. Actually, that person died in the community from community justice. And so if we are not responsible and if we are not trained to take responsibility, it can get out of hand. When responsibility were given unto us, it was to be seen as a task to see if we're able to show how accountable we are. And so we were given responsibility to ensure that we have the characteristics and the personality to navigate ourselves in society and take responsibility for each other. I don't want to go through all of this, else I have to go run through it, and this video is going to be too long. But we need to take responsibility. We need to know what we are doing, and we need to know if we don't take responsibility. For instance, we go out and we go kill some people and we don't take responsibility, then the community is gonna take that up and take justice in their own hand. If the government don't take responsibility for the persons who were killed, and then the whole society would not have laws and would not have a justice system. So it's very important that people take responsibility for what they do. It allows us to build trust. It allows us to build kindness, caringness, understanding. When we are responsible, we show responsibility to ourselves and to other people. And listen to me, we don't need other people to take responsibility for us, because even if we are with our partner and that partner doesn't need to take our responsibility unless we can't show how responsible we are. And what I mean by that is this: we are responsible to take care of ourselves. We are responsible to, to take care of our health, to take care of our overall health, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, every all the alleys. We are responsible to take care of ourselves. We cannot throw that responsibility to other people. We have a responsibility for ourselves. No one is gonna treat us the way we treat ourselves unless we don't know how to treat ourselves. And we should know how to treat ourselves, because we should treat ourselves with kindness, caringness, with understanding and self-love and self-forgiveness. We need to forgive ourselves for whatever it is, whatever thing we did, whatever thing we didn't do, whatever it is that is on our conscience, whatever thing that we think we didn't do and we should do, and we feel guilty over certain things. We need to forgive ourselves, because if we don't forgive ourselves, how are we going to forgive other people? We can't forgive other people and don't forgive ourselves. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. We cannot put the responsibility on our parents to take care of us unless we're underage. Underage here in Canada, they're probably 18 years old. Different country have different age group where responsibility is concerned. And so when you're 18 or over, you have a responsibility for yourself and for others. If you're under 18, then you have a guardian or parents that have the responsibility for you. Okay? And so we need not to throw our responsibility on other people, because sometimes when we give other people our sense of responsibility, it also frustrates them. Let me tell you why. They have a responsibility for them as well, themselves. They have a responsibility for, if they have children, for their children, plus they have the responsibility for us. That's not right. That's not fair. And that should not be. And so I'm saying this to say that we need to take responsibility. If we are sick or we become disabled, God forbid, because of something, then of course the responsibility goes to our spouse, or it goes to our parents, or whoever we did have in our will, or whoever we choose, or whoever is kind enough to take up that responsibility for us. Remember, I was talking about the word that comes out of our mouth. So listen to me now. When we think about things and we are talking about the things without thinking, all right, we just speak something just like that without thinking it through. We didn't think it through. We just spill it out of our mouth. In the Holy Bible, the King James Version, somewhere in the Bible, it says, whatever comes out of our mouth was conceived in our heart. So we already conceive and plant that seed in our heart, whether seed of kindness, seed of hatred, seed of rebelliousness, seed of sadness, seed of deception, seed of criticism, seed of all seed, whether good seed or bad seed. When we speak, it was already conceived in our heart, and we speak it without thinking it through. And so we speak. And sometimes we regret what we say because we didn't think it through. We need to think what we're saying, think what we are saying, think who we are saying it to, and think why we say it. Why did you say that? What could we have said something different? Could we have done something different? We have a responsibility for that as well. We have a responsibility for everything, right? And so I'm going to end this here. I haven't gone through the whole content, but I'm going to end it here. Just remember that we have a responsibility for ourselves, we have responsibility for others, and we should be kind and we should be caring, and we shouldn't shun our responsibility on other persons. And if we're easily upset, we need to sort out our lives, sort out what makes us easily upset, and try to gain some patience and tolerance, not for only ourselves but for other people. And so I just want to say, have a good night. Love you, lovely people, and take care of yourself. And comment on this video, subscribe to this video, like this video, share this video, because there are some persons who don't know about the website. The website is mentalhealthhorizon.com. And so just leave us a message, just talk to us. If you need help, go seek the help you need. If you need to see a doctor, go to the doctor. If you need a psychotherapist, go seek one. If you need dentist, go seek the dentist. Whichever healthcare provider you need to see, go see it. Go help yourself and take care of yourself. Bye. Have a great evening.